Wow, thank you.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, I do.
That's so cool. Yeah, so Imogen is back. This is your third one. It's growing quite a bit. And, you know, we were thinking, what can we do? Because it's growing in a bit. There was a lot we could do with it, with this length. And we looked at some of the haircut pictures with it this length. But we decided, because we also just watched what Grace did with her hair, which is super short as well. So Imogen decided she wants to go super short as well. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with Grace. Short sides in the back with clippers, just long enough on top we can fit a curling iron through it. So really short and conservative. Cool. So you're going to do that adventure. And the reason why we're doing it is because you need to go as short as you can possibly go to get out of your system before you grow it back. Because when you grow your hair longer again, you look back and think, I should have done this. And as it gets longer, you don't want to go back to those things anyway. So we're just going to keep the adventure going with you. So we get to use clippers, and then we're going to get to do, it'll be fun. And you like the feel of clippers anyway. You've had them already. So we're going to really crop it. Short sides and back with the clippers, just long enough on top for the curling iron. Nice, short, ultra conservative, a no bullshit kind of haircut.
Yep.
And retro and traditional. And yeah, it's a woman's haircut. When I did Grace's, I did it on a different angle, and we had someone else in here, so you didn't really capture it the same way as this. So we're just doing the same haircut, but with the back to the conventional angle again, as well.
Nice.
Cool. And then you guys can be matching, even though you guys don't hang out with each other anyway. Walk down the street and you're like, ah, you did it too! Well, it's so small, inevitably you bump into people here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do like a number 3, and then we'll take it down to a number 2 with the hairline, and we're going to do it quite high with the clippers. Cool. Oh, it's a mess.
Like you put them down just for like 2 seconds.
Oh, I know. But you think I'd be like a cooking show where everything's laid out and organized before you just put the camera on? No! I'm not that good.
During university, I was part of this group called Massey Digital, and we did this series, which was very short-lived, but it was very fun to do.
Yeah.
Can't remember what we called it, but basically the idea was we went around to someone's kitchen and just picked random ingredients and tried to make something with them.
Yeah.
And so I hosted like the first episode, and I made sort of like a scrambled egg with a lot of bok choy and some cheese and one bit of bread thing, and it tasted kind of okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were just a mess.
You ready?
Yep.
I might actually turn the chair. No, this chair is hard to turn. I'll turn it on the other side. Sarah was like, turn the chair so we can see what's going on in the back. All the people watching, and I'm like, nah. No, you know what? I kind of like this angle because it's what the customer or the person in the chair is experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like this angle. But I'll turn the chair a little bit. Do something new.
Absolutely.
We got a different camera angle for once. I do read the comments. And some things I'll do, but some things I'm not going to bother. People want me to film shampoos, I'm like, nah, don't do that. It's not a shampoo video. I'm going to go watch shampoo videos somewhere else. Some more. We're going to take it down to a number 1 at the hairline in the back, even tighter, because you have that kind of hairline that needs to go. These clippers are getting old. I don't treat them well. I never oil them. I can do everything else. They never care. They just, when they go one day, I just buy a new pair.
Yeah.
The amount of money you spend on oil, or you can just
Yeah.
buy a new one every so often.
And it's like with printers, isn't it? You can just buy a new printer for every time for how it's supposed to be.
That's cool. It might be I'm addicted to this haircut too. The short size and back, because it happens, the feel of the clippers, and the feel of the hair the first week, and then it starts to grow, and you're like, oh, it's starting to, you know, and then you want to. You can keep your hair short if you love it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back. I don't mind, because I just want to document changes over time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But if it's a bunch of different short haircuts, or take it back to Bob again. All change is good. Haircuts change, not growing hairs change. We'll see where we ended up. But, you want to feel that?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
So nice.
I know, that's fun, eh? You can see how tight I made it. So that went down to number 1 at the hairline in the back. So that's pretty tight. And then we're going to cut a lot off the top now. Give me a second, grab a towel.
I feel like at the moment I look like all 15-year-old boys at
Yeah.
the moment.
Well, this would be like, yeah, that kind of longer on top.
Yeah,
I call this kind of look, that's the German barber haircut. Like German boys with this haircut. Yeah. Which is a cool look. I mean, I like these kind of haircuts on girls now anyway, but now we're going to do the ultra conservative crop. Come on over, let's wash it. Come on over. And your boyfriend's used to the short hair now.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
No.
Come on with a crop. We'll be like, oh yeah, more short hair. It's all good. Those are the good ones. Shave it and they'd be like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that going to be a thing from now on? Grace said she went home and her dad looked at her hair because she said her family, like, they don't, you know, she said had to adjust the elbow in the room. So we looked at her and said, is that going to be, is that stable or something? Like, probably haircut stable, whatever it was. It's funny. So we were supposed to cut your hair last week or the week before? Was it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We got diverted. So you're planning to come in 2 weeks ago, but that's actually cool because it got even longer.
Yeah.
So we're ready to go 2 weeks ago, but they were still working in here. It was noisy, so I said, let's go down the road and come back. And I think what it was, my friend Lauren sent a text that said, come to the George to play mini golf. And I thought, that's weird, because the George is a bar.
Yeah.
So we go down there, and she said, no, what I meant was come meet at the George, and then we're going to go play mini golf. And then we're like, we had a beer, and then we're like, oh, we'll go and we joined them for the mini golf. And we didn't end up cutting hair that night, because the mini golf was a licensed venue as well. And the mini golf was good, wasn't it?
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad we did that. So no haircut that night, mini golf instead. It's so fun. Now on this channel we've done Mom says you have to have a haircut, and we've done Dad says you have to have a haircut. Now I would call this one Grandma says you have to have a haircut. Just long enough for the curling iron to the top. This is the Grandma says you have to have a haircut. Takes you down to the Old Town cut and curl.
Yeah.
Oh, nice and short size and back, just long enough for the curling iron on top. Nice and no fuss, no muss. Yeah, this is definitely a Grandma says you have to have a haircut. There's I've had a few clients over the years who had grandmas like that.
Oh, really?
They go visit Grandma for the summer and they come home with cropped hair. Like, Grandma made me cut my hair. And the mom's like, yeah, she used to do that to me too. Like, Mom, why did you do that? Oh, these kids with the long hair, it's not good. Or the line, long hair is gonna get them pregnant. Long hair doesn't get you pregnant. No, but it helps. The older generation. Nice short conservative haircuts. No one does that anymore. Different time now. No, but I had a few clients over the years with that. Go visit Grandma and next thing you know, the hair's cropped or short or little bumps or something. They're older now, they're adults, talking about their haircuts in their life. Hairdressers hear all these stories, and there's some pretty funny ones people go through. I've heard a lot. I could write a book called Behind the Chair. We read all these haircut stories. This is when you take a step back, you see how short it's getting, and you can kind of see how it suits you. It does really work on you. Those short cuts are good on you. But with cutting it like this, short cropped hair looks amazing too, because the curls give off a natural texture as well.
Mm.
So I knew we could be bold like this and it was going to work for you. So I think Grandma's right.
Yep.
Yeah. A nice old granny.
Mm-hmm.
Put your jacket on, you might catch the COVID. Thanks, Grandma. For this day and age. Don't come over to Grandma's with your COVID. stay and visit and go in the backyard and wave from the backyard. Or you can wave from the street. Thank God all that's coming to an end.
Mm. Yeah.
Look back, it'll be history.
It will be. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll look back on it.
Yeah, it'll be like back in my day.
Back in my day. Well, you know what? The old boys were like, COVID, huh? We had polio. What did they have? They had polio, didn't they? Polio was the one which put you in the iron lung. Yeah, they put you in the iron lung. Said, oh, you know the polio? They stuck you on the iron lung. And the polio survivors, oh my God, those guys ended up having to deal with a lot of crap.
Oh.
I would take the COVID over the polio any day.
Yeah.
There's still one guy in Texas living in an iron lung.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last guy, he's been living on it probably 50 years now.
Oh
Who
my
knows?
God.
Yeah, he's still in an iron lung.
Oh my God.
Yep. That's I wouldn't wish that on my
No.
no. He's still living too. So he's now lived through the COVID era.
Yeah.
But in an iron lung.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know you never know, he probably survived the COVID too. You never know. No, I guess this guy he's in an iron lung, you don't want to catch the COVID. But you see a YouTube video, there's YouTube on him, you see him on YouTube and his daily routines and stuff, and yeah, that's not good. Cold, but we have to measure just long enough to get a curling iron. Go even shorter, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I was saying about my client back home. Yeah, short sides in the back, just long enough for a curling iron top. This would probably be too long for her. She was all choking. She's awesome though. I told that story on Grace's video. I told you the story before this video, but I don't want to repeat. Story's on here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit slightly shorter. Any more 3D modeling?
Wee bit more, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I've been working on some lip syncing stuff at the moment, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So with the 3D model, the character animation.
yeah, the character animation, yeah. Trying to
Can never get my head around character animation. Do you know why? Because it's too. Because I'm a 3D. My 3D modeling in my history was a lot of it was engineering based. Because everything has a value, a number.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to character stuff, there's no value to like shaping a face.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
see the numerics in there. I just
Yeah.
can't get my head around it because it's different type of 3D modelers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I always had, and it's funny too. Like my kind of 3D modeling is just it's numeric. Everything's accurate. Like if I'm going to do this room, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I'm working with a character animator, they do their 3D model of a person. But when you import that person into my space,
yeah.
that person could be 3 miles tall
Mm.
because in their space they're not using units. They're just laying out a 3D model in proportions of what the person is, but they're not making a person 6 feet tall or 8
Yeah.
feet tall. That person could be 3 inches tall.
Mm.
So what happens when I put their character into my world?
Mm.
I have to scale them into my world because because they're not working in units in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I work in units in my head. Therefore, I got into character animation, like character modeling a little bit in the past. I couldn't do it because I need numbers.
Yeah.
Me, I'm gonna. This is me. If I'm gonna do you as a character, a 3D model of you, I'm gonna do this. You know.
Yeah.
But me, if I'm gonna do this, like I do have a 3D model of this hair salon because I did that for my
Yeah.
the project that I did on here. But every inch of that drawing is accurate to every inch in the salon, and it was 3D rendered as well.
Yeah.
But I did that for all the building permits.
Mm.
I did all the 3D modeling first, and then it went off to the different people from there. So I knew what I wanted in my head, and I had to put it into rendering, and then others can see it. And then you save a lot of money if you can do your own. Like that's my old career. You can do that stuff. You save a lot of time and money, because otherwise you have to sit down with people and go over what did you want, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What did you want here? And they're like, okay, we'll just get started on this. Yeah, I'll show some pictures on this video. The renderings I did for this salon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, people can see. I'm a good 3D modeler, but I'm not interested in doing any more shit on the computer. I'm over. Don't do the computers anymore. No. Over it. When you, this is when you know you're burnt out from 3D modeling. I don't know if I told you this story the last time. When you're in a nightclub and you start to see numeric value, like the Matrix world, then you know you got to quit that job and do something else. Because you're standing there and you're like, all the dimensions of the room have a numeric value, but all the colors have a numeric value. All the light have a numeric value, and the light reflects and shadows and everything. And you start to see that number. Like you stand there and you're like, if I was to create this in a model, you know, in your head, you're starting to. Then you realize that I need a new. I'm gonna start just to do hair full time now because I've been doing hair since I was 15. But I started 3D modeling in my 20s.
Yeah.
I think my last professional contract with 3D modeling was 36, and now I'm late 40s. So it's been more than 10 years since I've done 3D modeling. But you know, when you start to see the matrix, like you know that one scene in the Matrix where he sees the matrix, he sees all the numbers.
Yeah.
3D modelers can get that way with 3D models because everything in this room has a number.
Oh, absolutely.
When you start to see that number in your head, every color has a number. Lights have a sign, numbers. I need a new job. But now with hair, you get sucked into this world. So your brain, it does change your brain.
I found a lot recently with animation that I tend to people watch a lot more now than I used to, because a lot of animation is putting in that sort of the non-verbal communicators, because that's a lot of how people communicate. So I sort of watch a person walking down the street and be like, how are they walking, and how does that make them different from that person over there?
Yep. My perfectionism. But then it's interesting because like I was very numerical, well, I have high spatial sense, so geometry is very good in my head. But then hair is completely different world to all that too.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. If I was to choose one or the other, hair. I'd choose hair over that stuff. Obviously, I walked away from all that stuff, even though I was making a lot of money at it too. Well, you do this not for the money, you do this because it's passion, it's for love. But I always said about this business is I never saw this as building a business. I saw it as building a culture.
Yeah.
And when you build a culture, people want to be a part of that culture. And when they're a part of that culture, they bring their wallets with them. Yeah. So someone I've been asked in the past to give a business plan. I said, no, I never wrote a business plan ever. Because how do you write a business plan when you're building a culture, not a business? And I've explained that to others, like, I think a landlord in the past wanted to see my business plan, and the answer was no, there's not one. Anyhow, I didn't end up signing the lease with that guy anyway. You want to run away from a landlord like that if they want to see your business plan and stuff like that. You want the landlord I have here is the best. You just want a landlord that lets you do your thing. It's their salon, they don't know anything about it, they just want my landlord, her landlord has been extremely supportive of me. And also the space, because that was the other thing I love about this landlord. This was a space that hadn't been used for over 10 years. It was rotting and it was just awful. So the landlord was like, just do what you want. So it gave you I don't care what you do. The best business is to take something that's nothing and turn it into something, right?
Yeah,
because there was nothing here. That's the opportunity, right? Is to turn this into something because there was nothing. Nobody wanted the space. Every time they open the door, like the agent would bring people in here. They'd open the door, walk in, they would be like, no.
Oh, really?
And the same with me. I walked in, I was like, no. But when you walked in, this space it used to be a security office. It had dark blue carpets. It had office wall partitions, it had low drop ceiling, and it reeked of cigarettes. And the biggest one is you walked in and it smelled like an old fucking bar. And so when you walked in, the smell of cigarettes was enough for you. I just went, no. And the agent went, give it a thought. And it was like, still no. Yeah. And then he said, what if we take the ceiling out? And then I took a ceiling fan, it was a low ceiling. I just did that, flicked it off the side. And then I saw the wood up there and the beams up there. And then I thought, okay, maybe. And then I won't get into what happened after that because then we're getting into negotiations and that's not for cameras. Maybe. And then a couple of other bump back and forth. And I said, actually, at that moment, that's the moment you're going down the rabbit hole. That's the moment when you're going down the rabbit hole. And when you're getting into business like this and you go down that rabbit hole, you're not going to come, there's no stopping it. Once you're going down that rabbit hole, there's no turning around. And at the other end of it, took 6 months from start to finish to do it, including consents and all that crap. Yeah, 6 months start to finish. Because the first things first, I had to do the drawings. Measure it out in the 3D renderings and the renderings. And then people come in like, then they saw the drawings like, okay, yeah. And then work with the council and stuff like that to get building permits. Because now the vision's on paper. And the vision is executed. So we need mousse and hairspray. This is adorable on you. Yeah. Don't you love it?
I do.
Yeah. Because this would be more like what your wash and wear daily would be. Because you're not going to do what I'm doing with it now. And it's super short sides and back with a little bit longer top. I can actually do it a little bit shorter on top, I'm thinking. You wouldn't mind though?
No, if you want to
just do another pass with the scissors. But we'll do the curling iron test. Is it just long enough to get a curling iron in it? It's about... Yeah, we got more. Well, this is what would happen at this one. You'd say to Grandma, is that short enough? No, just long enough for a curling iron. Grandma says shorter. Grandma, it'll do her some good. The long hair was going to get her pregnant. Long hair doesn't get you pregnant, but it helps. That was from Kim's Convenience. Yeah, watch it. I think that's on Netflix. I'm addicted to it. The mom says, her old friend you grew up with, she goes, oh, she's such a slut. It's like, Mom, her shoes are going to get her pregnant. Mom, shoes don't get you pregnant. No, but they help.
Short skirts don't make you pregnant. Yeah, but they help.
The best line. I love Kim's Convenience. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't, no.
Oh, I love it. I'm addicted. It's the location of Kim's Convenience where they shoot. It's around the corner from my old hair salon in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Because I was Queen and Church Street was where my hair salon was. There's Henry's Camera. There was the McDonald's and then the Henry Camera, and we were behind the Henry's Camera. So the McDonald's was in the corner, and Henry Camera was there, and we were called the Lid Lounge. No longer there, it was called the Lid Lounge. So it was in that area. And further down, Queen Street, just past Moss Park area, was where it's called Mimi's Convenience, but that's the location of Kim's Convenience.
Oh, I see.
So when you watch the show, that's my old, you'll get into it. Now that I'm talking about it, I'll get you into it. That's my old neighborhood where my old hair salon was. And I used to live Queen West, but I used to work at that salon Queen East. And I used to live on the Danforth, which is, the other area. It's a Greek town, the Greek neighborhood. But the Greek town, the Danforth is where they filmed a big fat Greek wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that house was just around the corner from my old house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that house is there, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. They did some modifications to the house for the shoot, like the garage with that big Greek flag.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't really a garage there. There was, if you look at the picture of the house and you look at the set, that was all added on by carpenters and whatnot to make it look more Greek than it actually is. So where the garage is, where the Greek flag is, there was never actually a garage there on the house. The garage was on the other side of the house, but they added that on to make it look more Greek. But even now, you can see the house today. It still looks Greek. It's on the market right now. If you go to the internet, you can see in the interior, all the pictures of the interior design is there.
Oh, really?
It's even today. It's still dated. The kitchen, it looks like it's from the 70s. Like it's still,
no.
and it's on the market for $2 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's all the pictures. I was curious because it was my own neighborhood.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But the decor, I was mesmerized. I'm like, oh my god, this is my retro. Like, if I had $2 million, I don't have $2 million. Oh my god, that would be a crazy purchase, but I'd be tempted. And then you could do like videos in there. It's like, look, I bought this big retro monstrosity. But you know what I would love to do is buy an old granny salon with all the old fixtures.
Oh, yeah.
Like the old chairs and all. Like, there's not many left in the world, or there's a few around New Zealand. They're disappearing left, right, and center. But I'd probably shout $35,000. I'll take it off your hands for $35,000 type thing.
Yeah.
And then you have an authentic old retro. There's not many left now. A lot of those old hairdressers are retired now.
Yeah.
Not many left. There was one. And I talked to her. I won't say on the video where she is, but she said, if you know anyone who wants this, it's too far a drive from here, too far north. But I did have a comment. I was hanging out with her. She said, "Oh, you know anyone who wants this? I'm getting old now." She's in her 70s and she's still got working here. So I know. I got her to do a haircut for one of my retro projects because I wanted someone from that era to do the haircut.
Oh, yeah.
I went in the Capitol and everything. So I did a haircut, she did a haircut. That's how I met her. So the two models were went in the Capitol making side by side. So one was my haircut, one was her haircut. And she was just like, "You want me to do what?" Like, this point in her career, no one asked her to do an editorial, right? She's a grad. She's 75 years old. I said, "I want you to do a haircut for an editorial." She's like, "What? Like, why?" And she didn't get it. But then when she realized I was serious, she was like so happy to do it. And the girl was long hair too, and she cut it. It was short. It was a short, retro short haircut. So the two girls we had were side by side. I did one, she did one. But I wanted, for an editorial, that's absolutely what I want. I want the 75-year-old hairdresser that has the old, and she's got a picture of that in her salon now in the big window, like when you walk down the street. Oh, yeah. That big blown up picture. I popped in there a year later to say hi. The look on her face, she's like, "I had so much fun doing that," and then she says, "Do you want my salon? Because my clients are dying now." She says, "No, she's wonderful. I love her. I won't say her name or the names or anything on these videos, but she's so cool." Her haircut was amazing. It was exactly it. When she's cutting it, she's like, "You sure you want the fringe that heavy?" Like the whole fringe from way back there forward, and she's like. And then she was like, "Oh, don't get to do this much often anymore," because all the modern cuts. Oh, she's the best. Yeah, I went to the Capitol magazine that shot. And the girls that did it, they had so much fun.
Mm.
And Little Maiden was tempted, but it's an hour and a half drive from here north.
Ah, I see.
Too far. But with those two girls, what we did, we based that image on early 80s Kiwiana.
Ah, yeah.
And with both of them, they both had long hair halfway down their back.
Mm.
And they're both in their 20s.
Mm.
And what I said to both of them was, whatever haircut your mother had when she was your age, just bring a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then whatever that haircut was, that's the haircut they got.
Of course.
And both the haircuts were short, of course, they were like these kind of lengths, right? So I did the one girl's haircut, and then I said to the other girl, we got to go to someone from the age where, I want someone who is that age who would have done those haircuts at that time.
Yeah.
So we ended up driving an hour and a half north to this hair salon.
Oh, wow.
And we said to her, we want you to do this haircut for her.
Yeah.
And at first she just was like, and then she realized, it's what it's for and everything,
Yeah.
we're serious. Oh, the time of her life.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. And then big makeover. Then she turned on the, like, oh, I'm going to do, I'm going to be, Oh, and then now the picture in her, and I'll flash the picture of that we took on here, on the thing. People can see it. That was a fun project. And that was an example of like your mom's your biggest role model, and you get your mom's haircut, then it's some people like have that. Oh my God, I look like my mother, but some people don't because their mom's their role model anyway. Both those girls admired their mothers, and they were just so happy to do it. And I said the rules are whatever haircut your mother had at that age is haircut you have to get, and you can't tell your mom you're doing this, and then you have to your mom can just see your hair and be like, that was the rules. And the one girl did her mom's hair on her wedding day. Her mom's haircut on her wedding day, which is short haircut. And we did 2 photo shoots like that. We did another girl. We were supposed to do a late 70s tennis. And she had long hair. We were going to keep it long.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is how it came to be. This is the first photo shoot, which was unplanned. She had long hair and she looked like a Brady Bunch girl, right? And so we put her in the 70s retro outfit, the Adidas retro tennis, the old tennis racket. But her hair was long, but it was so dry and damaged. And then she said, well, what if we just cut it? And then I said, well, you'd have to cut off quite a lot to get the damage out. She goes, that's fine. Like up to here. She goes, that's fine. And then I said, okay, if we cut it there, because that won't look retro. I said, what if we permed it? And then she said, that was the hair my mother had at her wedding day. And so this was the first photo shoot. And so we did it. She didn't tell her mom. She went home that night, and her mom's like, oh my God, mom loved it. And then the next photo shoot, we said, we got to do another version of this, but with the 2 girls, and just to grow on it. So we ended up doing 2 photo shoots like that. Get your mom's hair. Because we love our moms.
Yeah.
Not everyone does. But if you love your mom, get your mom's hair once in your life. You see that fluffiness? So this is without a curling iron. You can see how easy it goes. Because you got natural curls anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, nice and conservative. Now, if I was really organized, I would have turned the iron on as I turned the hair dryer on. But my brain wasn't thinking that way. I don't get to use curling irons often anymore. back in the day, the ones who were regular with curling irons. Hair dryer, curling iron and hair dryer on the same time, so the curling iron's ready by the time you put the hair dryer down. And they do that sort of stuff without thinking. But I'm lucky if I put a curling iron on once every 2 or 3 months. It's so rare now. No one does it anymore. We want it bone dry. Oh well, while the curling iron's heating up, I'll do my perfectionism stuff. I like you with short hair.
Yeah.
I think you should keep it for a while.
I think I might, yeah.
Yeah, I might just be a short haircut for a year maybe. I'm all good with that. We want this nice and hot. When I was in hair school way back in the day, we had a client that used to come in, I think it was every Wednesday. She's short hair like this too, but she used to do wash and blow dry and curling iron once a week. And it's hair school, so it's not expensive, right? But she used to fall asleep in the chair.
Oh, really?
So we used to call her Sleeping Beauty. I used to call her Sleeping Beauty. And every week someone would have a different turn with her. It's like, who's going to, you know, before she's coming, like, who's going to get Sleeping Beauty this week? And sure enough, she comes. She's really friendly. Sits down and then, you know, blah, 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 and then you wash the hair, come over here. As soon as the hair dryer comes on, and then every so often she's like, and you have to blow dry it and curling iron while she's asleep.
Oh my god.
Boom. And every so often. And that was very early in my, you know, my training. And I'm doing her hair, I've got the curling iron. And those curling irons were different because they didn't have the spring on them and they had the bar. So you did that, you grasped them like that. And I was coming around and I think she moved her, so I don't know what it was, but it slipped and I grabbed the barrel with my hand and those irons are hotter than even this one. And I blistered my hand. And then the instructors were tough back then. She just, that'll teach you to do that again. You know, no sympathy from her. I'm like, damn. And I had to finish the service. You know, there was no health and safety back in those days. Like at school today, you would they'd probably have to fill a report. Not then. It's just you get the that'll teach you. You won't do that again. Oh boy, did I ever blister it though. Anyhow, hair schools used to be tougher too. Not anymore. Hair schools are they're more inspiring. Yeah. Creative, inspire their creativity. They're not as rigid as they used to be, which is good. That's for the better. New Zealand is still a little bit traditional with the hair training, but they're better than they were. Because you can imagine, old school hair training in this country would have been ultra conservative. The Aveda Academy around the world is, I think, it's the best. If anyone wants to be a hairdresser up there, I highly recommend Aveda training because the very core of their training is like, what can we do to inspire you, you know? And there's not many training approaches like that where it's about inspiring the person coming. This country's not like that, that's for sure. So I ended up at the Aveda Academies and it was excellent. But you can start your career, you know, at entry level at an Aveda Academy around the world. They're excellent. Except for you. For you, Mom. And one of the models we had in here, I started to train her how to cut hair because she's like, I always want to be a hairdresser. So there's one video of her me doing her hair, And then in the next video, it's a video of her actually doing a haircut. It was when Grace was here.
Oh, really?
So that's why the camera angle was from over there, because I'm cutting Grace's hair and she's doing someone's hair here. So I said to her, yeah, just do your thing. Let me see what you can do. And she did she did really good actually for someone who's never been trained. But she's been doing friends' hair, especially because she's first year university. That's where you do hair in the halls, right?
Yeah.
And she's the one with the confidence who will, yeah, I'll give you a haircut. So she's that girl. And then having exposure here, now you can see her. You can see the gears tickling in her head.
Yeah.
And the question comes up, do I dump my degree to be a hairdresser? I'm like, that's a decision for you, not me. But no, she's actually really cool. So I filmed her doing her first haircuts in here. And if she actually does switch over, maybe she doesn't, it's up to her. Those videos are there for her for down the road, because I don't have videos or pictures of my early haircuts. I do have some pictures of my later high school girlfriend, but my first high school girlfriend, I don't have pictures of her haircuts. Because I was 15 when I started cutting her hair. But she wasn't my girlfriend yet, but there was a girl in math class that gave her haircuts, and she liked it, and then she one day kissed me. And then she ended up with my best friend anyway. Because to be honest, it was better. I wasn't upset at all. What if I dated Archie? That's fine. I introduced them. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are better actually. I just wanted to cut her hair. Archie's cool. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. That's one of the coolest dudes I've ever known. Archie and I had the vintage Vespa scooters.
Oh, really?
We used to work on them mostly at his house. I used to do them over there at his house. He's very talented with customizing. Yeah, in high school. The old Vespas. It's fun. We learn a lot. It's great. A kid that age should take things apart and rebuild them. And then I learned about two-stroke motors. I was 16 when I bought it. I was pretty young when I bought it. $300 I paid. Best thing I ever bought.
Nice.
Parents flipped out. Bought this thing. Yeah, they weren't happy about that.
No.
It's my money, my bike. But I had brothers that wanted motorcycles, and they said no. And then I came home with a Vespa. How come he gets one? Oh shit! That fucking thing! So then the bike said Archie, so I'd work on it at Archie's house. So that's how I ended up at Archie's house. Get that thing out of this house! But it's not a motorcycle! I don't care! So I ended up at Archie's. But I think after about 6 months, I wouldn't. It ended up at my home. Ended up at home anyway. But in the beginning, no, they wouldn't. You keep it. So all that meant was they never saw me again because I was always at Archie's. Get that thing out of here! I was like, yeah, you won't see me either. Where's Matt? Always at Archie's with his bike. Why don't you come home for dinner? No, I'm with my bike. I don't want to be with my family. I want to be with my bike. But those high school years, I was never home. They never saw me. You would leave school on a Friday at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then you come home. So you're basically coming home from school Friday, but Sunday like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because you didn't come home from school after school Friday. So you went out Friday night, Saturday night, it's Sunday, and you're wandering in at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. You hadn't been home because you left for Friday. You left for school Friday morning, and you came home at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. I was like that a lot. They had no idea where I was, and I had younger brothers, and they're like, "Oh, how come Matthew gets? You can't control me when I'm not there." That was something I got in high school. You come home Sunday and you sleep so that you go to school on Monday. And you're just grouchy. You hear the wrath when you come home and you're not listening anyway because you just want to go to sleep. Yeah, you weren't going to control me. But I was watching on Netflix. I really liked it. It was called Puberty Blues.
Oh.
And it's sort of the same sort of thing. Like those kids, you know, the mother's trying to control that daughter. And I've seen that over the years with clients, you know, hair salon, you know, you do the daughter's hair, the mother, you see the rivalry between mothers and daughters and shit. But the mistake is when you go down that road, those are years you can't take back, right? Like if you try to control your 15-year-olds, 15, 16, 17, 18, now you look at it, you got a baby, I got 2 daughters, you got a baby then at 18. If you compromise even 2 or 3 of those years, you're not gonna get them back.
Yeah.
No. So it's a mistake a lot of parents had made historically. And same with my parents. I mean, in my high school years, you know, you can't get that back. So with my daughters, I'm not going to miss out on any of that stuff at any point in their life. You know, they can be, I don't know, the worst that they can do. I'll work with it, but I would, you know, we do different things today than in the past anyway. I'm actually really liking this. Yeah, enough fun. And then we just do a blast of hairspray. Into a rock. Glass it with a diffuser. But that show I was talking about is a TV series. It used to be a book. But it takes place in Sydney, like south of Sydney, Australia, late 70s. But oh my God, those girls were awful. And the guys were awful. And the slang is hilarious. All the crap they used to say back then. I'm on Google at the time looking up these slang words because I don't know any of them. The girls, they all call each other moles. Like, she'll be like, oh, to say hi, Cheryl, mole. I'm like, what's a mole? So you spend a lot of time on Urban Dictionary. Looking up this stuff and laughing. You're like, oh my God, it's really creative. Look at that. And we'll clean up your hairline more with fuzzies. And grab a mirror to the back. Yeah, really tight sides and back, just long enough in top for the curling iron, and nicely coiffed. And look at that, hard as a rock. Hard as a rock. And you can touch it. Yeah, and then you can feel the sides and back and everything. Yeah. Doesn't get much more conservative than that. Gonna go to the church bake sale now. Yeah, but there's something about these conservative looks that I find sexy as well. Like with your glasses on and yeah, so. And you pull it off. Cool, let's do our after shots. Oh, look at the other one. Grandma, is that short enough? Oh yeah, that'll do just fine. Grandma says it's good. Grandma approves. And yeah, but we'll do the final, we'll close the video, and then we'll do a shot. So come and have a look again. So what do you think of this one?
It's great.
You're gonna keep it, or you want me to wash it out? Go home with it?
Oh no,
I'd go home with it. I'd keep it. I wouldn't wash it. Just go home with it.
Yeah.
But like I showed you, when you wash this out and it does its natural thing, it's gonna look amazing anyway. Yeah, I'm a fan. Cool. Thanks again, and we'll have you come back in 4 to 6 weeks. For clean up sides and back anyway, if you decide you want to grow the top out. But if you love this length, keep it for a long time. Yeah. If you keep it, we won't film every time, obviously, but I don't mind if you keep it this short for however long you like. Cool. Yeah. We'll see where you end up. We'll decide in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll charge this thing.